Let there be light. Ah, yeah! Woohoo! Hey there, wizards, and welcome to the wonderful world of Ars Magica 2. So in this video, guys, I'm going to show you how to make your very first spell, as well as show you some of the most amazing spells you'll ever see in Minecraft. So let's get straight to it. So the very first thing that you'll want to find is one of these. I have wandered it off because this mysterious water is pretty darn special. So you're going to find one of these out in the wild. They'll spawn in a 2x2 radius. I think they emit light, so they should be relatively easy to find. It doesn't have quartz around it, otherwise they'll be pretty awesome to farm quartz. But you're going to need some blocks, an item frame, and a book. Excuse the diamond pick of food, because wizards get hungry too. So you're going to plant any 2 blocks up like this, and then place an item frame, and then use the book inside. And you should see some awesome particles if you've done it right. And after this amazing little light show, that little book will disappear and turn into something else. Pow! Look at it. Look how awesome that book looks. Let's just hop into game mode S quickly and knock it out and pick it up. Oh, it almost flew over to the other side. But once you pick it up, it should say you have unlocked the secrets of the arcane. And you will be well underway to become a wizard of your own. So let's hop back into our little testing facility so we are completely safe. And hopefully we don't get hunted down by anything else out there, because this mod does give a lot of mobs as well as a few bosses as well. But to even begin thinking about taking on some of these bosses, we are gonna need to make our very first spell. So what you're gonna need is an oculus. To make one of these bad boys, you need 3 stone bricks, a glass block, 2 coal, and a blue topaz. Blue topaz, as well as some of the other stuff we'll see down there, naturally spawn in caves and stuff like that. So when you're caving with your pickaxe, you should be able to find a few more cool blocks to use as actual blocks, because if I see what it can be used for, there's quite a few things, but you can make into lots of cool decorative blocks, as well as some pretty sweet goggles. Oh man, I really want those goggles. Okay, so we have the oculus, and we're also going to need an inscription table, and that is 2 oak planks, 3 oak slabs. I'm pretty sure it's any oak, any type of wood. Yeah, any types of wood, as well as some of the new wood, which is witch wood. You're going to need a torch, a feather, and a spell parchment. And a spell parchment is pretty simple. It's just 2 sticks and a paper, like a scroll type thing. Okay, so we're going to take that as well, and we're going to need a book and quill as well. Okay, so let's plop that down and look what these things look like. So the oculus is kind of like a telescope to sort of look up to the skies. So that's pretty cool. The inscription table is a very cool wizardy desk. I love that. I love that. Just imagine me. Look. Hey, I'm a wizard. Cool. So let's look into the oculus and gaze up to the stars to see what we can learn. So there are 3 different tabs: offense, defense, and utility. These are the different types of categories of the spells that you can make, as well as affinity, sorry, not infinity. And this is your sort of element type deal. And here are your skill points. As soon as you learn the secrets of the arcane, so as soon as you make your arcane compendium, you get given 3 of these blue skill points. And the blue skill points are kind of like the early tier for your spells. You can see the very first thing you can learn is projectile in the offense tree, and that's blue. But if we go down the tree a little bit more, you can see there are green skills, like ignition and everything like that. But there are also red skill points. So it kind of means that red are sort of the high-end tier, green are sort of the mid-tier, and blue are the early tier. But there are a few blues and greens that are quite far down. I can't find them at the moment. There we go. There's a quite far down blue in the defense tree. To get these skills, apart from starting with a few of them, you're going to need to get some of the experience orbs, and I believe that only bosses can drop those. But let's start off. We are going to make a projectile as our first spell, because you can learn some of the other ones, but come on, offensive spells have got to be the coolest ones, right? So just here you can see that there's like regeneration and heal, so you can actually just become like a healing wizard rather than a pure offensive mage. But we're going to start off with a projectile. We can make it affected by gravity, so kind of like an arrow, it would fall down instead of just shooting in a single line. And we could also make it bounce. But I think to start off, we're going to learn physical damage. So it's actually going to do some sort of physical attack. It's going to actually shoot something. And we're going to make it, fire or magic? Ooh, we are going to make it fire to begin with. Okay, so the first thing we can do is projectile. That is going to do some damage, and it's going to have the fire element on it. Okay, so let's actually make the spell, because the inscription table is where you write your place. I'm kind of paranoid. That's a rather big opening. I don't really want to get attacked. But we got the book and quill, so we can actually make that. So you're going to put your book and quill in the very middle. This bit, the search bar, is if you've been playing it for a long time and you've learnt a lot of these, you can't actually scroll up and down, so you're going to have to type it. So projectile will just narrow it down. So because of 1.7.2, the mod has been updated, so you've got these little brown boxes and a grey tab at the bottom. But you drag your projectile or the shape of the spell. Because the spell is kind of made up into different categories or components. The shape of the spell actually determines what it's going to be. So the projectile is going to actually shoot out. But some of the other shapes are like the touch. So it's actually going to physically touch something from like hand-to-hand combat. So technically I'm touching this iron block, but the projectile over here could shoot out and get the obsidian. If that makes sense. I hope it does make sense. And self is another shape as well. So let's actually write this down. The book and quill gets stored in it, so you could just sort of leave it as a one slot bank. But the projectile is down in the category already. So let's drag down physical damage and fire damage as well. So it's going to be a fire projectile. And so as I am super creative, I'm going to call it fire projectile. And you can see here that removing the book will finalize the spell recipe. So let's take that out. And now we have the fire projectile book. So if we open it up and have a little look at what's inside, it says that the shape group is projectile. To make it, the combination of the actual spell is physical damage and fire damage. If you go over to the next page, to make it, we're going to need blank runes, Vintium dust, an arrow, a snowball, a red rune, iron sword, flint and steel, and spell parchment. And then the affinity breakdown is 50% fire, 50% earth. So let's whip up in the Arcane Compendium. So when you first started, guys, you won't have all of these little tabs. I've been having a little play about with myself. So these all appear, but these sort of appear as you need them, so you don't get too overwhelmed, like, what is going on? But if I'm going a bit too fast, you guys can actually open up this book and read it for yourself. And it basically outlines what you can do to get started. Which is really, really helpful, because I know a lot of mods just sort of expect you to know stuff, but this actually tells you, which is awesome. So to actually make our spell, we are going to need something bigger than these two things, because we're going to actually need to sort of break down the elements and actually make the spell ourselves. And so let's go to our little wizard tower. And you may have noticed that I'm walking to a dead end. These are solid blocks, and I can't actually do anything with them. But you are kindly mistaken. So let's do it. I gotta run at the wall. I'm gonna actually run at the wall. And we are through. I took a little bit of damage, but it's worth it to get through the wall. I didn't actually teleport. This is an actual block. So if we open up this chest, you can see that these are ethereal illusion blocks. Ethereal means that you can actually walk through it. There are two different types. The normal illusion block is just a pure solid block, and you can't actually run through it. But to make it, you're going to need 4 chimerite, 4 black runes, and a glass block. And the black rune is pretty simple. It's just a blank rune with an ink sac, and the blank rune is 6 cobblestone. Quick bit of counting, 6 cobblestone to make 2 black runes. So if I place down the illusion block, it's not very illusiony, but you kind of place it next to a block, and it turns it into that block as well. For some unknown reason, I start suffocating in those blocks. Actually makes it into the property of that block as well. So I needed an axe to chop that down faster, but place those back, and yeah, they look pretty darn cool. I love that you can sort of make a secret base. It just looks like you're in a desert temple or something like that, but it's a massive magical temple. Okay, so I've been playing about with a few spells. This is just one thing that you can do with spells. These are light particles. So I showed you guys to make the spell that was fire, but this is what light can do, which is so cool. You can actually change the color, but I will show you guys in due time. There's a little thing in my top right hand corner that just won't go away, but if it gets annoying I'll change it. But this is the very start of the crafting altar. So let's whip open the compendium again, and we go down to the structures tab and open up crafting altar. So this tells you how to make the crafting altar. I'm just going to press pause because having it flicker is a little bit weird for you guys. But basically, there are two sort of components to the crafting altar. The main building block, which you can see in this example, is oak wood planks, and then the caps. The caps are the blocks of gold, and you do need 5 of them. But the caps allow you to make more complex spells, if that makes sense. So the main blocks in order of power are as follows: wood planks, stone bricks, and yada yada yada. So you can make the crafting altar out of planks, bricks, sandstone, witchwood, nether bricks, and all that, and that will allow you to have different effects on your spell. So the first spell we actually made is very, very simple. It's just fire and projectile and physical damage, so it's not exactly going to need a complex crafting altar, but the caps really allow you to add loads of other stuff as well. So the gold blocks, as you can see in this example, will give you an extra 6 effects, but today we're going to use the sunstone blocks, because sunstone is another new decorative, or actually useful block in this case, to make from this mod. So let's actually build the crafting order, and then we can actually whip open the spells. Okay, so it's here. I have all the blocks needed to make it. Let's just get that open. I'll show you guys how to make the components now. So the magic wall, which is this awesome block, is so cool. I'm just going to place it down in the actual right spots. Look at it. Even if you didn't need it for this crafting altar or anything like that, you could just make them into... It's just awesome. Purely awesome. So you're going to need 2 Vintium dust, which is also found while mining. It's just an ore block and a bit of stone to make 1 magic wall. You're also going to need a crafting altar, which is just a Vintium dust and a bit of stone, and a lectern, which is 3 oak slabs and some wood planks. Okay, so let's actually build it. So the Arcane Compendium, will allow you to, will exactly tell you how to do it layer by layer. So the first layer is a 24 of your building blocks in a 5x5 with a cap in the middle. So the cap we're going to use today is the sunstone block. So let's just get to building. Let's get building. Let's do this layer by layer. Keep an eye on the compendium. So the next layer will be 2 of the blocks on either side with a magic ball and the lectern as well. Let's let it cycle again so we get to see it at the front. So let's place the lectern down like that. And then the next layer is more magic walls and more slabs, as well as the lever as well. Okay, so that's halfway through it. Let's whip back into game mode C so we can fly. So the third layer was just an extra little bit of blocks with some stairs on either side, facing kind of facing diagonally down. And the last layer is the very top. So we're going to need 8 stairs, some normal blocks, and 4 caps. So let's get that done now. So stairs, stairs, stairs. Stairs on the wall, stair, 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 and another one there as well. And then block, block, and then as well as the last caps remaining. So these sunstone blocks look absolutely amazing. I just can't get over how cool those lights look. They're so cool. Okay, so the last block we're going to need is the crafting altar. So we might as well whip back into game mode S and place the crafting altar. I think you need to be sort of underground and underneath it to place it. I wouldn't do it incorrectly just in case it was wrong. But yeah, there we go. That's the crafting altar all complete. It won't give you any sort of recognition to say that it's built correctly until you start trying to build your own spell. So yeah, let's just build our own spell now. Okay, so we're going to need to sign off our book. Because of the new version, for some reason when you take your book off, it doesn't actually sign it and close it. So that's where some people are having a little bit of problem. So let's sign it. Call it fire. Oh no, fire. There we go. Sign and close. So it turns it into a written book. So we place it down, and Yes, okay, cool. So if the book turns red, then that means the altar doesn't have enough power or is built incorrectly, and so it won't be used. Don't be fooled that if you start doing the process correctly, then it'll be fine. It'll actually explode. Yeah, it'll explode and you will die. Regardless of what armor you're wearing, you'll just die. I've tried it before. I was like, oh, it's red, but it's still allowing me to make spell. No, it'll kill you. Don't worry, it'll kill you. Okay, so let's chuck all this stuff away. I need my steak and I need my pick. Not too sure why. I'm hungry. I'm num steak. Okay, so we're gonna start it off by chucking in a blank rune, and of course I don't have one. There you go, blank rune. So to start off any spell, you're gonna need to chuck in a blank rune. So chuck it in, and there we go. We are greeted by a lovely prompt from our book. So it wants 1 Vintium dust. Chuck that in, and if we do it correctly, we should hear sounds every time. It wants an arrow, because it is a projectile, so it's going to need an arrow and a snowball every single time. And because it's a fire, it's going to need the red rune and the flint and steel as well. Okay, so an arrow, chuck it in. Oh, that's weird, I didn't hear any noise. So snowball, I didn't hear noise again. That's very strange. Please, oh, okay. Ooh, I thought he was going to explode on me. Okay, we're going to need our swords as well. Chuck in the red rune, the flint and steel, the last bit of Vintium dust, and the spell parchment. The spell parchment is always the last thing to chuck in, so come on, let's do it, chuck it in, and whoa, look at it, that is our very first spell. It looks awesome. Okay, so, oh my god, look at my hands, they're on fire. Yes, okay, so the first thing you got to do is actually name the spell, and you get to choose a pretty cool icon as well. So as it's a very weak fire projectile, let's give it a rather small fire projectile spell, and yeah, that'll do me. Okay, cool. So it's gonna cost us 200 mana to cast it, but we can't actually see our mana cost bar or our burnout. So let's quickly do the AM, which is Ars Magica, user interface, CFG, which is config. Okay, so now we get to change so we can see the values. Let's see the EXP, let's see the mana cost and numeric stuff, show the burnout bars, yes. You can actually drag all these as well. So you can drag your mana bar about and stuff like that, which is quite cool. So there we go. Cool. So we get to see our EXP bar always visible. And you can see at the bottom right that we have 500 EXP. And we are also level 1 because we haven't cast any spells, so we haven't gained any more mana. Okay, so I'm just going to give this a little cast to see what's going to happen. Oh no, actually it needs to have a target. So let's spawn in some sheep. Actually, let's poor sheep. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, sheep. But this is for science, or magic even for magic. Oh yeah. Okay, so we're at level 2 now. It should have actually come up with some cool sounds. Oh, I missed. Okay, so you can see here that the mana cost is slowly going down. It had actually risen, in fact, because our burnout has increased. So every time you cast a spell, you actually gain a bit of burnout. It increases the mana cost, so you don't spam your abilities or anything like that. Spawn in another sheep. And we have full mana again. It's all nicely regened, and the burnout has almost gone from our spell. So let's keep firing. Yeah, we killed it. So it only took 2 or 3 fireballs to kill. Right, so now I think we should actually try it on a live hostile target. Okay, so I'm level 2 now, so let's get my spell going and shoot him right in the face. Oh yeah! Oh no, I'm already out of mana. So at the start, your burnout does really hinder your ability to use more spells. What's the cost of it now? I can almost cast it again. Yeah, right to the face. So yeah, when you first start out, it's not too OP either, which is really good actually. But we took down that zombie, oh yeah! So I think we should actually move on to making some of the more complex spells if we can. Right, I'm going to hop into Game Mode C quickly. Game Mode C, and if you're actually in Creative and you open up your inscription table, everything becomes unlocked for you. So I'm going to show you guys how I made that awesome little light show at the very top. So if you get the wave shape, and you have to drag in projectile as well, because it says over there, wave is a principum shape and needs a targeting shape added after it in order for it to function. So basically that means that the wave itself does nothing. But if you add projectile, then it shoots out a wave, and you can add in like beams and stuff like that, which is absolutely awesome. So let's drag in projectile and then drag down light as well. And I've just noticed that you can actually add color to stuff. Oh my goodness, you can add color. We need an extra book and quill, sorry. Let's find one quickly. Where is it? Type in quill. There it is. Okay, so let's chuck it in. And then removing the book will finalize the spell recipe. Let's make, and then book and quill. Oh yes, so there it is. Oh my goodness. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's name it something. Let's make it a wave shape. Where's a wave shape? That'll do, that'll do. Wave of pink. Cool. Okay, so as soon as we, pinka, that'll do us. Okay, so let's fly, and then I'll show you just by normal right clicking, it'll send out a wave of particles. And these particles actually stay there forever, and I believe that you can add color to it when you're making the spell recipe. So if we were to add in pink dye when we're making the actual spell, then these particles would actually be pink. Alright then guys, so I have been messing about with some of these spells, and I have to tell you, these are absolutely incredible. So the first thing I showed you guys was the very simple fire projectile, where it just shoots out a little ball of fire. But as I've been messing about with them, some of them are pretty awesome. So this one is called Light Zone. So basically it spawns in a little zone around me and starts shooting out little particles. So let's do that. Oh yeah, look at it, it's so cool. Even spawns in these little light particles as well. But I'm not sure how much damage that would do, but it looks pretty darn fancy. But these spells aren't all offensive. Some of them can be utility, and this one is called Blink. And basically Blink allows you to teleport short distances and yep, through walls as well. So now I'm outside of my pretty cool wizard tower, so let's teleport up to the front. And that was pretty darn quick. I mean, the mana cost isn't too much, so I think even in game mode C, I could still cast this as a very basic wizard. But oh my god, that is so cool. You can even combine this with speed. So every time you'd blink, you'd actually gain speed for a few seconds as well. So that's pretty cool. The next one I might as well use out here is called Zone of Leap. So it casts a zone around me, and everybody inside it, so you could walk in sort of inside it and you'd gain the buff, gains jump boost. Oh, how cool is that? It gain jump boost for a good 30 seconds. I'd imagine you'd still take full damage, but you can actually combine this with slow fall. So you could sort of jump up, start falling down slowly, and sort of blink in midair. Oh my god, it's so cool. So if I had an infinite mana, which I do in creative mode, that would be amazing. So yeah, these aren't all necessarily offensive. This one is called Heals. I don't really have a target to use it on, but oh, there's a pigger. There you go. I'll use it against him. But it uses the beam shape, so I'll start zapping it with heals. Take the heals. Take the heals. So it would be gaining regen and heal just while I kind of beamed it. He likes it. He likes it. This one is just called Heal Zone. So if I go over to these pigs, give them a little tap, and then I cast a little zone, everyone around it gains regen. So these happy pigs have regen for a good 15 seconds or so. So that's pretty cool. So you could sort of be the healer of your group instead of being offensive. But of course there are more offensive spells. So let's spawn in a few I didn't think this through. I didn't think this through. Let's teleport back into here. Come on, I can teleport through it. Come on. Come on. Okay, I'm through. Okay, so let's spawn in a few of these guys. And then this one's called just lightning, but basically it shoots out a little zone of lightning around it. So it actually does a bit of area of effect, which is awesome. So you wouldn't need to cleave or anything like that. It's just, oh, so cool. Let's spawn in a couple more. Spawn in a few more, and pow! Oh, mob farming is a thing of the past. Oh, so good. So guys, I think that pretty much wraps up Ars Magica 2, but this is only the beginning. This is just the basics of Ars Magica, and if you guys want me to go through more, then please do leave a comment below. And so I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, then please do leave a like below, and if this does happen to be the very first video that you've seen on this channel, then please do subscribe and join the fellowship today, and I will see you guys next time. So take care.